So now it's time for Corkball. So Corkball guys, coming up. Gerald Brown. Gerald, bring your two guys up. I don't know about you, but when I was a little kid, my father would take me to a corkball net every Friday night. Every Friday night, it was his night out with his son to play corkball. But guess what? He sat his son outside the corkball facility. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a cage. It's a cage, and it's a little tiny ball, little tiny bat. And I've never seen a corkball guy with a shirt on. But they're going to tell us a little bit about the game. And, St. Louis has been in the corkball business for what, 100 years?
Just about.
Just about. Come on up, fellas. Take your seats and we'll go there. I want you to introduce yourselves.
Go ahead. My name is Ray Timmons, and I represent Sportsman's Corkball Club.
Okay.
My name is Don Goedeker, and I represent Gateway Corkball Club, the oldest corkball club in the world, I think.
Are you part of the Goedekers that sells washers and dryers?
We can sell you anything
Every
every day but Sunday.
Let's
you need
have
something?
Yeah, except Sunday.
No, that's actually my cousin. That's my cousin.
No, he's a good guy.
But
He's
I do
a
buy
good guy.
appliances.
And
from
Gerald
him.
Brown, who is kind of organized this for us, and Gerald is the Sunset Hills Parks and Rec guy. But the greatness of this is that these young guys are playing corkball. So tell us about the history, both of you.
Sure.
Well, corkball originated.
Uh-oh.
I'll go first.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the Gateway Corkball story is kind of an interesting story because really it started during World War I. Some St. Louis guys went to Arkansas in the Army, and back in World War I, they didn't give you baseballs or softballs or anything that you could play recreational sport with. And the guys brought along broomsticks and, taped up pieces of cork to play corkball. When they got out of World War I, these four guys started our corkball club in 1929. John Horan, Al Ulsis, Doc Mayo, and Johnny Jansen. And they decided back then that they wanted to have an organized competitive league. They discussed the size of the ball, who would make the ball. They didn't use broomsticks anymore. They used, and I saw you brought a bat also. This is a very old bat, but this is a bat that we use. The ball looks like a golf ball, only it's got baseball stitches on it. And I would tell you it's a very, very difficult game. The other thing I would tell you, Chris Carpenter, I don't know if you're still here, but I know you've retired, and we could really use another frontline pitcher on Wednesdays. If you're not doing anything on Wednesdays, we'd love to have you. We're very respectful. So at any rate, but
And he can wear a shirt, right? He can keep his shirt on.
he can do anything
okay.
he wants to do, starting with being on my team as a pitcher. But at any rate, 88 years later, we are a club of guys. There's 90 members, both playing members, social members, and retirees. The club has social events. We have a banquet annually. We have an awards night. We have a Christmas party for the kids. We do philanthropic work also. And so the club has been around for a long time, and hopefully a long time to come.
Tell us the rules. How many players? How long does the game take? How many innings?
We play 7 innings, and there's usually 5 or 6 players on a team. And today, most of us don't play in cages. We play in the open field.
You're not caged anymore.
No, there's no cages.
Oh, okay.
There are cages, but they don't play.
Okay.
Most of the game is played outdoors. We personally play at Jefferson Barracks. They have their own field in South St. Louis. But our leagues have been competitive for many years. They have a tournament in the first week in August, and they've been doing this tournament since 1979. The first year they had it, There was a total of 36 teams from the St. Louis area, Missouri, Illinois, and it was a two-day tournament. And unfortunately, in the beginning, Gateway was pretty much the elite team in the early 80s. But by 1988, Sportsman's, we won our first tournament there, and we've won 12 since 1988. So we're definitely the elite team in Corkball today.
There was some great.
Did you ask a question about elite teams? Because if you did, we could talk about that also, but I don't think you asked that question. I'm just asking.
I don't think so.
Okay, because I did want to mention one thing. In 1979, go ahead, did you, just in 1979, the first year of your tournament, which was well, the tournament was a terrific tournament. 36 teams, as he said. And in 1979, it's one of the highlights of my playing career.
Okay.
I pitched that game, the championship game, in front of 300 or 400 people, about 100 guys from Gateway Corkball Club, and it was a terrific time with all the teams that were there.
Who were the major league players who played corkball?
Well, I've heard that George Sisler played, and I believe they have a bat company that
Yogi
made
Berra, right?
some of the corkball, and I believe Mike Shannon's played. And I can't say for sure about Red Shandy's, but I heard that he has played as well.
Okay.
So
I saw Yogi Berra on the list as well.
and he could have.
Yeah, way back when.
He could have.
Okay.
I think some guys still play at spring training. That's what I've heard. They still play. No, I've truthfully heard that in batting
Is that right?
cages down there, yeah.
It's a tremendous game. I guess next to fast pitch softball and baseball, it's probably the neatest game around.
Right. Well, it's a St. Louis game, and we appreciate Corkball, and we're going to welcome them into the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.